What's today's mathematics?
Build, destroy. To build is to elevate the mentalities of self and those around self. To add positive energy to every nation. To build, you must first start from the root, which is the knowledge foundation, and add on to the highest peak. To destroy is to eliminate and destroy any and all negativity that enters my cipher of supreme harmony.
Destruct sequence completed and engaged. Awaiting final code.
Code 0, 0, 0. Destruct 0.
Destruct sequence is activated.
Welcome to the Melanated World Network. Produced by DM3 Entertainment. You are now tuned in to the Think Tank Podcast. You are about to listen to three brothers who have been friends for over 30 years speak on many different topics. So sit back, relax, and you just might learn something. What's up, world? What's up, Rel? Unmute yourself so people can hear you. I'd like to thank the two people who are watching us right now, and I'd like to thank everybody that's going to watch us after the recording is over. Today's show might be a little hot one. It might be a little sensitive towards people, but we're not here to hurt feelings. We're here to get minds right and understand what our goal is, and that's to get the melanated community together and get us going forward and never backwards. The topic today is, you have The Color Purple, the remix. I said the remix. The remake is out, but back in 1986, there was a big uproar on how it portrayed the melanated man in 86, and now I'm wondering if it's going to be the same type of effect going to happen now that it's out now, because we already know our sisters are independent and they don't need a man. So that's why I'm kicking it to y'all, and we're going to talk about it. Introduce yourselves. Let the people know who y'all are.
What's going on, family? It's your boy, Rel Jabbar. How y'all doing? Happy holidays, and New Year's coming, so enjoy that. Clean out all the cobwebs and get ready to start fresh and over. But y'all know what it is. Peace and love, much blessings.
Same thing here. Same thing here. Happy holidays, everyone.
I'm here to speak on this hot button topic. Let's see where we go with this. Let's see where we gonna go. What roads we gonna travel?
Definitely. So, first thing we're gonna do before we get on the sisters, we're gonna make sure the brothers has got their self together. So, like the sisters always used to come down on Kevin Samuels. So we got two clips of Kevin, but he gonna talk to the brothers, and that's the thing. In order to be a leader, you got to have yourself together. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about what he got to say real quick before we jump into the color purple. And here's your first clip. Here we go.
Women want and expect men to pay all 100% of the bills, all, without exception. Don't listen to what they say. This is what they want, and this is what they want. This is what they want, and this is what they expect. So when you hear that woman talking about 50-50, well, can't we do 70-30? That 70-30 only comes along once they feel good that you can actually pay 100%.
So, brothers, how do y'all feel about what Kevin just said?
That's scary. That's really scary
Why do you say that?
because when he said that at the end, I remember this Jet. Remember Jet? They always had this little cartoon in the
Yeah,
back of Jet,
yeah,
and I don't know why it just sprung in my head where there was a cartoon of two people getting married. Over his head, it said, "Finally, two incomes." Over her head, it said, "I can finally quit my job."
all right. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
That's
Uh,
yeah. That just came to my mind right now.
so, Rel, what's your thoughts? I see your head shaking. What you thinking about this?
Well, I got a whole lot. I don't want to take up too much time. Well,
Oh,
in recent episodes, I had said, you remember the song Secret Lovers? Uh,
Yeah.
that's what we are trying to blah, blah, blah. Remind you that she was a stay-at-home woman, had all of her needs met, but she was still thinking about whoever she was going to sleep with. The guy's out here busting his butt to make sure she can take care of home. Also, I never really, mathematic wise, yeah, it's too draining financially on any one person. We applaud women who have to raise their household by themselves. We say, good, you're doing your thing, you're doing your thing. But now, on the other side of that, if I'm taking care of the bills and I'm taking care of not just a household but the whole entity, we don't get applauded for that. We say that's what you're supposed to do, and if you're able to do so, do so. But I just think an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and that woman at home all day is an idle mind.
okay. I definitely understand what y'all saying. Like me, I agree 100% with what Kevin was saying. Is because when we grow up as young men, and I know the three of us wasn't raised by fathers, but we were raised by. We got. I'll put it like not raised, but we got lots of positive feedback from men who did take care of their business. And one thing I understood when I was talking to those who did take care of their business was when you're a husband, like you said, that's your responsibility. You're not supposed to be special. It reminds me of Angela Bassett in Boys in the Hood when she said, "You raising your son Trey." You said you ain't. What she say? You ain't special. He said you might look good, but you're not special.
But you're not special, right?
Something in that nature, right? So Kevin is trying to explain to young men out here and even older men who still in their second childhood to make you understand that this is what's in the mind of a woman, that she chose you to be her leader. She chose you to maintain the household. So you have to maintain it to the best of your ability, not looking for to say, yo, mama, what's in your pockets? Because that's kind of like a pimp. You been out here
What
all day and all you guys $100? It ain't supposed to be like that. What you was gonna say, Mo?
I was gonna ask, like, I once seen a girl say, if you're paying half of the bills, then you have a roommate.
It is somewhat of that concept. But one thing also I look at is like the old saying, I pay the cost to be the boss, right?
Yeah.
So if you are paying all the bills, then you should have a higher say at the table. Just like when a company, when a 500 company runs and they have shareholders, what shareholder got the most power? The one that put the most
Mhm.
money in. You
The
know,
majority. Yeah, yeah.
the majority owner, right? So it's the same concept with man. If you choose to have a wife, you choose to have a woman that lives with you, then you should be paying. This is my understanding. You should be paying the majority of the bills. Now, if you got a good woman, that's what I
Well,
tell women. But this is what I tell women all the time. If you have a good, I tell brother, if you have a good woman, then she ain't got no problem with helping you. But you're showing the example that you lead in. And if you do get one that cannot see that you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're handling your business and you need some help and she doesn't want to help you, then it's time to change the threshold. Honestly, that's my point of view.
this is not math where we can change, the equation. If we change the roles, and you can't, but if we change the roles of men and women, and I'm a stay-at-home dad, and the wifey is working and taking care of all the bills, but I'm at home doing everything she does or should, I'm at home. I'm doing laundry, dinner's ready when she comes home. I'm ironing, I'm shopping, I'm doing all. If I'm at home, do I get applauded and say, "Oh, he's a good man," or do they say still that no good nigga, that no good bum? He's at home all day while she's working. See, if you reverse the roles, I don't look that good.
Because
So,
I was go ahead, keep going.
so what that is saying is that the roles of a man and a woman are not equal, so they can't switch. So
Exactly.
when we start talking like that, we have to look at the role of a man and the role of a woman because they can't switch. If they switch, you can see how we're thrown off, how we
Yeah.
look. Because
Yeah.
but
I broke that down to a young lady I was talking to years ago. Where I said, you may think it's cool for your man to be at the house chilling, washing the dishes, cleaning up, doing all the things that you think a man wants you to do. And say he does do that. You're going to, in your mind, you're going to look at him as weak in
as
your
we
mind. And it may not be in
emasculated,
and it may not be in your frontal lobe, but it's definitely in your subconscious. It goes against the natural inclination
order
of
of
things.
things.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly,
I want
exactly.
to say real quick, those who are watching us, if you have anything to say and you want to chime in, just throw something in the chat, and we'll look at it, we'll read it, and we'll even open up the lines in a few minutes. For those who really want to have something to say. I just want to say that go continue.
Yeah, so we have to redefine uh, the roles. But before we can redefine the roles of men and women, we have to redefine what is a man. And we left that definition up to the Caucasian for a long time. We left that up to our woman for a long time. We left it up to the pastor, the imam for a long time. And we just finally got to come up with the definition. What is a man that is what is a man, not what a woman think it is. Because I'm never going to be what your father wanted me to be if that is the standard of your man. I'm never going to be what your minister, is. And I'm never going to be like Jesus. And you don't
Yeah.
want me like Jesus because Jesus, he stayed away quite a lot of times. You don't want me at the house
Yeah.
like that.
But some people like to always talk about, Esau, the Muslims, we call him Esau, was always kind and turned the other cheek. But he has been times where he went up in that gambling spot to start kicking stuff over. You know,
Yeah, he
so
turns the
so
over.
there is both sides. But what y'all are saying,
Can a sister handle a man like that?
yeah. See, that's the thing. We are so much we're so much out of order that when you come correct, then they think you're out of order. You know,
Then we're out exactly.
you
Yes.
know. But I would just say with that one clip, I get what Kevin was trying to explain to the young men. It's because you do have to strive for excellence. You may not get there, but at least strive for it. Don't be that lazy bum hanging around with your pants hanging off your butt, thinking you can play PlayStation all day long and just be, just taking shorties down because they let you. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you always have to do it. Well, what do you guys got to say before we move on to the next topic?
But I do believe that a lot of our image of men is based on what we see. As a little girl, she grew up and she seen her father, her uncle, the men in the community, and that's what she digested as a man should be. I mean, you take some men, like for example, I use myself. I'm not mechanically inclined. I ain't going out there getting up under the hood, changing spark plugs and oil changes. That ain't my thing. Give me a pot, give me a pan, I got you. But in her mind, I'm the mechanic, the baker, the candlestick maker, and the mechanic. I'm everything. And sometimes it doesn't go that way. It just doesn't go that way. Especially if you had no direct father figure around you to give you those influences and understandings. But in today's environment, who's raising the girls to have those images of what men's supposed to be? I
Yeah,
mean, where are
definitely.
they? Where,
But I
where's that?
definitely, yeah. I was gonna say, just moving on. I know it teaches us in Islam that if you don't know, ask those who know. So you're gonna know someone who knows what they need to do. Say you can't fix a car, you go to a mechanic. That you can trust and know that he can do that. And you, as the head of the household, the man in the house, then that's what you should be stepping forward to do. You shouldn't be sitting on your butt thinking your woman wants to do that. We
Agreed.
have we got somebody in the thing here that says somebody. Can y'all see that? Can y'all
No,
see that in the chat? No.
no, I don't see it in the chat.
Oh, I got it. She says, I do believe the saying, a man does not work, does not eat. But technically, if he is a stay at home husband or father and he cleans and cooks, that's his job. That's what the young lady had to say.
That's a job, not his job. Yeah, that's a job.
Well,
Okay.
But
I
you
think
know,
fair is
Miss
fair.
Erica Franklin.
If she's bringing home the bacon, then you need to get out there and fry it up.
Well, hey, but that's the thing too. Like, if you're a dude and you did take on that role of being the house mom, then you got to be a damn good house mom. You
Well,
gotta
yeah,
have you gotta have your woman saying, "Damn, when I come home, my man got the kitchen clean. He got the house set up. He be rubbing my feet when I get home." You gotta be that brother. You can't be that brother like that lazy little nigga. He on my couch again.
the, the
Yeah,
thing is, what works in your house might not work in mine. What works in hers might work in hers. So every house is different. You know what I'm saying? Every house is different. If that's
yeah,
the charge that you
yeah,
take,
yeah,
cooking and
yeah.
cleaning, so be it. If that's the charge you take by going out, earning a keep, but it must be a joint effort on both sides for both people to understand that what I'm committed to, I'm committed to, and what I can do, I can do, and what I can't do, I just can't do.
All right.
Yeah.
Now on this next one, like I said before we even get into the color purple, because I said we not here to be on our show to be just batching women about stuff. We trying to get the brothers to be correct. So Kevin got one more thing that he needs to explain to the young men, and I want you to check this out. He's talking to a young man thinking that he's a lion, but he ain't even prepared yet. So this is the advice Kevin gave this young man.
Tiger, but I have the mindset of a lion. Like I'm struggling with that.
You're 27. You're neither.
I'm neither. Mm. How do I prepare? You know,
What?
um,
You're 27. Prepare to what? Be a lion? To run a pride?
no.
You're
I
not
just
ready. Are
uh,
you ready to be a husband?
um, mentally, I would say I'm like 70%
Look here,
there.
man. See, the fact of the matter that you even had to split this into categories says no. Why can't you
Okay.
just accept the fact that you're not ready?
Yeah, I know I'm not ready. I know I'm
Then
not
get
ready.
out of the conversation. You're not in a husband relationship conversation. So why are you trying to get women to look at you in a way that you're not?
Because those are my goals for the future, and I understand if you
Mother
can cope.
French toast. I don't care about your future. It's 8 years away.
Okay,
What did your daddy say about it?
what's that? My dad?
What does your dad say about this stuff?
I don't speak to my father.
Thank you. Because you're going at this conversation like a
Really? I, I'm
Like
not
a
getting that.
woman. Because how many times I've had to raise my voice and got to a place where I'm chastising because I've told you, you're not ready yet.
I understand that,
You're
Kevin.
trying,
I'm
and
not
this is what
saying.
happens to so many young black men because we don't have fathers and we're not juniors. We are trying to become men before time, and we think we're trying to do all this stuff too soon. You're not ready.
I
It's a
understand that,
goal of
Kevin.
yours. If you're in the
Uh,
fourth grade and the goal of yours is to go to college, you don't start filling out applications. Guys, there is nothing wrong with not being ready.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm back. Hopefully, you understood what he was trying to explain to that young man. Before y'all, I'm gonna just tell you what I got from it. I think, like we have talked on this show before, and like Brother Rel has said, you really don't become a man till you're 40 years old. And the 40 years old is because you got wisdom and you built your castle, you built your society, you built what you needed to build. And what these young men are doing is they're putting the carriage before the horse. And what Kevin's trying to tell that 27-year-old young man, is that you have to build something before you think you're gonna go looking for a wife, give other people advice, things of that nature. So that's what I got from it. What did you two get from that?
Well, I just felt that this is a young man that wasn't ready to be responsible, and Kevin had to give it to him a little bit tougher than would normally be done. I mean,
Somebody turn that
27
volume down a little bit.
at 27, you should really uh, be working on yourself, working on your own house, working on yourself. You know, but the kids should catch 22 because having kids in your 30s is different than having your kids in your 20s. Or should you have your kids in your 20s as opposed to your 30s? I say 30 because maturity. I say 20 because you're still trying to. Don't say 20 because you're trying to build up who you are. And it's a tough road when you're trying to build up who you are at 20 something years old. It's tough. Sometimes we're just not ready for it. I mean, I know myself. I'm talking personally. At 20 years old, I was a kid. I like it wasn't there.
I
It was
agree
nowhere
with you
near there.
100%. I agree with you 100% with that because I didn't have my
Mm,
first son until I was 35 years old.
yeah,
What
Yeah.
you got to say, Rail?
Well, you know, we're created in haste. The Quran says that man is created in haste. And unfortunately, you know what? Brother Solomon said something one time. Uh, he has said that in the educational system, you're given the knowledge up front, and then you're given the test. But with the Creator,
it's
you're
reversed.
given the test up front. Then, after you have faith in the test, then you're given the why of what you've been through, which means you need patience and faith. Um, the irony of the whole thing is when young men, and I'm talking on myself, when we're in lust, when we're dealing with that woman at that time of intercourse, we're not worried about the future. We worried about that, right? We're not worried about if she get pregnant. We're not worried about who's her boyfriend is. We're not worried about none of that. We worried about that at that moment. So when we're lustful, we worried. But here's this brother thinking outside the box, thinking way ahead, and the brother's like, nah, no, don't think that far. Think about the here and now. And unfortunately, the strange thing is the young man didn't have a father to tell him, slow down, son, slow down. And it said I grew up with KRS-One as my father figure, James Evans on Good Time as a father figure. Unfortunately, it was that era. um, Farrakhan cassette tapes and Farrakhan speeches and Public Enemy. So those were father figures. Thankfully, that during our era, we had decent men around to still step up and give us, what some sort of guidance.
Definitely.
I agree.
Now, there's that big point there. Like, us being Generation X, a lot of us did grow up without fathers. But the thing was, we were blessed enough to have some kind of examples out there. You just had to be smart enough to recognize them. like you did. You noticed all the names you named. You even though they were entertainers, also imams, things of that nature, but you
Right.
still got
Right.
good things out of it.
But now we're doing a segue now. As powerful as that character was on TV, that shaped me. Because James, he had that stare as powerful. Now, mind you, how his influence became so powerful that they had to kill him off. But if his influence was that monumental as a black man to black young men, that's what we're saying about The Color Purple.
Yes, and that's a great segment you come into because it reminds me of when me and you were in college, and I used to wake up in the morning. And this is I'll say this line you used to tell me. She said, "You're supposed to be a Muslim, and the first thing you do is cut on the TV. It's called program for a reason, my brother."
Yeah,
So that
the
always,
program is, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So it
yeah.
always,
It's all programming.
yeah. So it always was something that was put into my mind, and I remember that. And that's the thing, music, visions, smells. These things are very powerful for the mind. And when you get these type of things constantly, this is the things you have to watch out for, and that's why we're bringing this up. And I'm gonna hit you with this first clip, and we're gonna go into that. Like I said, what is the effects of Color Purple, the remix, gonna do to us as a people? Now check this out.
Quote the lines, love the song.
Whoops.
What's a movie that you look at differently with an adult set of eyes? Because
The Color Purple. I can quote the lines, love the songs, but all that dysfunction and abuse, I can barely watch it now.
And you heard what she said? She said all that dysfunction and all that abuse. Now, when we were little, it was funny for me. When I was a little kid, my sisters used to watch that joint. My mother had the DVD. No, not the DVD, the VHS tape. Remember the VHS tapes? My sisters watched that movie so much, they broke that joint, and my mother had to buy another one. You know what I'm saying? But I never, for some reason, I just never could gravitate towards the movie. And I didn't start noticing what it did to us until, Kevin brought it up when he was alive. He used to talk about how it did a detriment to the black community because of the negative stereotypes they would show about black men. So I got one more clip and then we could talk about it. James Baldwin spoke on this back in 1986 when it first dropped. And this is what he had to say.
Black men in this country has always been false. It's latent today to blame it on black women. The Color Purple is, of course, the most controversial of these books or movies. And the only way I can answer that question is to say that, the movie I thought the movie was awful, really. And in the movie I felt that if you're going to give me that particular man, that black man, then you got to tell me more about him. I can quite see, that black men can do all those things, but then there's got to be something wrong with them. And you'd have to let me know something more than the catalog of this man's brutality. If he were white, then he would be, Paul Newman were playing that cat. You realize he was very, very sick, and he'd have all your sympathy. You'd hope he'd get well. But the black image is very, very different. All you got to do in order to do that is be black. Well, it's an image of black people which is not entirely Alice Walker's fault. That is the way the Republic has seen black people, black men, since they heard of black men. And that has had a terrible effect on black women. And in that context, if the motive is to be liberated from these images by exercising them, really, then amen. Freedom is very difficult to achieve, and the process is very, very awkward. But in order to demolish an image, sometimes you have to hold it up to the light and see what weight it will bear, see where it comes from, see if you can live with it, and if you can't live with it, get rid of it. That answers your question.
That was
All right.
interesting.
So what y'all get from that? Because I after listening to it again, I did get some other stuff. I want to hear what y'all have to say first.
Well, I think James Baldwin was a very powerful person of his era. I did watch the movie, and when you talk about the different characters, such as Mister, it was kind of sick and demented in what he was doing to his quote unquote stepdaughters. Um, but the reality is that someone wrote that movie from some knowledge, some experience, some hearsay, because there's no way Alice Walker could have wrote those scenes without having knowledge of some scenes of someone's life already to place those in its proper positions within the movie. I think that we need to be careful of of the movie because it's not real. It's a movie, but it probably was based on somebody's story. It could have been her story or a story in her family being told by how the men was. Because we only talk about one man. We're talking about Mister, and we're talking about his father who raised him. I mean, if you look at the movie, didactically with regard to the father and the son, they were one of the same. You know, some people are just sick, and I hope that society doesn't look at us as sick men based on a movie. Judge me on my judgment, not judge me on a character in a movie. It's practically impossible to say all black men are like this or like that when we come so different, broad strokes, colors, hair, height, weight, etc., and most off personality. I just look at the character and that he's a character, and I would be remiss if I could think of a woman saying, "You remind me of Mister from The Color Purple." It's a character. It's TV. It's fictional. Alice Walker did a great job writing that book. It was highly acclaimed during his era. And to be honest, looking at The Color Purple from the adult lens is way different than I looked at it at a 16-year-old lens. Because at 16, I was fascinated with the movie because all the big names was in there. The Oprahs, the Glovers, the Goldbergs. There was a lot of people. Even my favorite guy, what's his name? Lawrence Fishburne. He had a great scene in the movie. So it's kind of hard for me to put the text of the movie into my reality. And I pray to God that nobody put the text of the movie into their reality.
Yeah, you saying that, I understood it from your point of view, but I'm looking at the as you hear from the 5% Nation, they say the deaf, dumb, and the blind. It also
Yes.
says that in the Quran. And there's way more of them than it is brothers like ourselves that we can distinguish a fictional character from a man walking down the street. And right now, they're using many things to weaponize our women against us. And I didn't want that to be something else that's going to be fuel for the fire. So that's why I was very concerned with it. But I did see where Baldwin was breaking it down, saying that sometimes you have to put the darkness to the light so people can see it. And I think the ones like brothers like ourselves, we can't see that. I'm just fear for those who are being brainwashed out here. That's just my thoughts. Brother Jabbar, what do you have to say?
I like the way Brother Muhammad Solomon said it, and you echoed Brother Baldwin when you said, the brother was sick, but at the same time, if you're sick and that's not the natural order, what made you sick? And maybe we should have went back to find out what made this brother act like that and get to the root of it so that we can say, okay, if I avoid this, I wouldn't act like that. We did not do that. But as much as men I believe, was showcased in our negative behavior, because even the moon has a shadow side. The black women, was also showcased on their bad behavior, but we did not castigate the black women. We did not degrade them. We laughed and we cheered them on, because they were abusive verbally. They were abusive physically first to go around. They was doing a whole lot of shenanigans, and that was applauded. Their behavior was applauded. Our bad behavior was blasted. So can we hold up the black woman to the light? It's not my assignment to do so, but as black men and women, we have a whole lot of repairing to do, and we must come together and repair and stop putting ourselves in the lens of Hollywood. I know we're angry, we have pain, but we have to, if I saw looking at the black women in that movie, I didn't laugh. It was probably one of the reasons why that brother became sick. Just my take, because there was some stuff that the black women did in that movie that wasn't cool either.
Well, I mean, if we talk about fiction and reality, so everybody's like every black woman's like Precious mom. What was Monique's name in the movie Precious?
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Now, hold on now. In the comedic world, and Color Purple was comedic to some degree. What they say is that you tell a joke, and when the person is laughing and their mouth is wide open from laughing, then you shove in the truth. Most comedies, or it's funny because it's the truth, and there is a degree of truth. So is art imitating life? Is life imitating art? No one can just, for us to be so upset. If this was fiction, we used to say in college, if I throw a brick at a pile of dogs, no dog bark but the one that get hit. So black men, what are you screaming for? Did a brick hit you? If this was just made up, you would be laughing and no brick hit you, but a brick hit us, and now we're barking. So whether it was made up or not, something hit us, and we're barking. You degrading black men. You degrading we. So, but the only fault I think we take blame is that we didn't step up as the men that God told us to be. We was always afraid. We wanted to be like the white man. We wanted to be like that man. We wanted to be like everybody. But submit, and we don't have no blueprint. We can't go back to Africa and say, "Tell me how to be a man." Hell, they in disarray themselves. So now you're looking at a person saying, "I have to go past the Imam. I have to go past Farrakhan. I have to go past Elijah Muhammad. I have to go past the church. I have to seek God. And God, you tell me who I am. And I submit to you, not the pastor, nobody else." Now that's a hard assignment to do, brothers.
But yeah, definitely. But that assignment can be done. Where you made the point, going back to the Most High first, and He gave us a handbook. It's called the Quran. It's called the Sunnah. And if you read these things and you study these things, then you can be a better man than what you are. Sometimes people don't want to do that because it's uncomfortable, because you have to give away all of your desires, all of the things that you feel is comfortable. But
Give
that's a
up
part
all
of
that
being,
you know.
yeah, but that's a part of being a man, being uncomfortable. It's not easy,
No,
but
no, no, no. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the job it's
It's
the
the
job
job.
that we were assigned to do. You know.
Yeah, you know what? In past uh segments that we done, and I might be beat up for this. We talked about a man having multiple wives. So I look at the brother in Color Purple. Was he a sinner? Was he a Christian? He certainly wasn't a Muslim, because the brother would probably have 4 or 5 wives legally, and all that madness wouldn't even happen. So maybe we need to put back on the table, should we in the Black community adopt that part where a man can have multiple wives if he can take care of them? Maybe that'll put out a whole lot of mess.
Well, I would tell you like that. That's like training a wild horse and trying to get on top of it. You will get bucked. It was going to be lots of bucking going on, lots of brothers getting thrown to the ground, and lots of pains and heartache. Because the sisters right now, they're very comfortable with one, being independent, two, making all the money. So now you're gonna tell them you taking away my independence, and I gotta not share my money. I gotta share you, my money, and I gotta hear some other woman in my household. It's a lot going on, but that's a topic for another show. But
We already had that topic, brother.
I guess we
had
need
that 2
several
weeks
more.
ago.
Let me tell you, 2024 is coming in fast, and I guess it's going to be a lot of talking. You know how the doctor, you know how you might catch something, but you catch it again. Got to go back to the doctor. So it may be a time you have to go and talk about this many more times until we start seeing results from people. But I don't want to get too far. We still got the other half of the same thing with The Color Purple. Now, the reason I bring up earlier saying that we have brothers and sisters who do got their mind right and they can separate a fictional character from what's going out in the streets. And also, like you said, there are lots of brothers out here who are like Mr. and they are the ones barking. Then you have brothers like me. I'm not like Mr., but I bark too because I see the negativity that is going to give the sisters towards brothers who are not like Mr. And this is a perfect example. Now, the first person that we saw in the video was James Baldwin, a man with lots of education, lots of patience, lots of in Islam we say sabr is in Arabic. It means same thing, patience and wisdom. Now we're gonna deal with two comedians, and they're gonna give you their take on how they see it, and they watched the new movie. So these are the type of reasons why I wanted to bring this up. Now here we go.
You seen Color Purple yet?
Well, we can go into that.
Hey man, this is my first time watching it as an adult.
Hold on, did you go see the new movie?
But that's an adaptation. That's a musical. The first original one's not a musical.
Okay.
This is adaptation off the Broadway.
I thought it was decent.
You like The Color Purple?
But that bitch, what's her name? Sugar.
Which one? The Taraji?
Taraji. What's her character's name? Sugar. What?
Sugar. Yeah,
Sugar
she's
Avery?
Sugar Avery. She's
Sugar Avery is a scumbag bitch.
Wait, so you never saw the original?
They painted Mr. out to be this guy. I mean, he was slapping bitches for the most
he didn't
minuscule reason.
And all that. Come on now.
I mean, but what I'm saying is, Sugar Avery was worse than that nigga. That movie was an indictment on black men, because the black women in that movie was worse than him. You talk about Sophia, the character that Oprah played last time. She put her hands on Harpo first. When Harpo went back to defend himself, he got that ass whooped. Nobody in the theater. I was in a theater full of black people. When she hit Harpo, motherfuckers was laughing and all that. And when she came back with the black eye, I heard sighs, like, why he hit the bitch. And it took a white woman to discipline her and put her in her place. When the black man tried to put her in her place,
I love it.
That bitch did 6 years in jail, got out, was quiet.
Yep, she was like, yeah.
When her husband tried to discipline her, she put up a fight, left him for another. Didn't even talk about the other nigga she had around his kids. Sugar Avery was a hero in this movie. This bitch was an adulteress. She slept with a married man and his wife. And she turned the man's wife against him. Bitch, you signed an oath to serve me. And you leaving with this alcoholic bitch.
Wow.
That was crazy to me. And then
I love your point of view.
And then when she stood up for herself, which I don't mind that, everybody at the table on her side. Everybody sticking up for all that.
Nobody wanted to ever talk back to Mr. because they were all kind of feeding off of him.
I just couldn't believe the discrepancies in this movie. This movie was basically this movie is the reason that there's so many studs. I didn't realize when this movie came out.
It's entertainment.
No,
You take it
no,
too serious.
no. Black people take entertainment serious. We think this shit's real.
But no,
Did y'all hear the last thing he said? He said, "Black people take entertainment serious. They think this is real." You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. That 85% is deaf, dumb, and blind. What y'all got to say about this?
That was a great synopsis because I would have never put that together.
And it's
That was
crazy
great.
what you, yeah. And you know what's else wild, Rel? You know how you said brothers get hit by the brick and we bark. The sisters are stubborn. They get hit, they ain't barking, they biting. They biting
Yeah.
at people. You know,
Yes, you're right. They not barking, they biting.
you know, and they don't want to hit because as I listen to him, I'm saying, okay, it's gonna bring light to the women. But you said put the women up to the light. You see
Yeah.
them all in the light, but they ain't even recognize it.
Nah, they right. You noticed before the brother spoke, the young lady on there was like basically, yeah, we're gonna bash you niggas, the color purple, blah blah blah. And soon as he put in his perspective and said, "This is what I saw," then it was like, "Oh no, it was fake. It was only entertainment." Okay, see,
And he
see, how
said,
come it's only entertainment now?
black
See,
people take entertainment seriously.
we take it entertainment. Look, black folk don't say entertainment. We say entertainment. That's our ebonics. So you enter into having your mind tamed. Enter the tamement of
Break
your
it down.
mind.
We
Entertainment.
getting tamed out here.
Enter
You know?
into it. We don't push you into it. We just ask you enter
Yeah.
into the
And and
tamement.
then the other part that's wild that I caught from him, and I've been telling this to women I know for a while, a man can't tame you. A man can't tell you to be right. A man can't make you fly right. But when who? What did he say? Who? What kind of person he said tamed her? The
That
white
white
woman.
woman.
A white woman tamed her. That was powerful. And that was the truth.
Yeah.
In that story, that white woman tamed her, locked her
Yep.
up for 6 years.
Exactly. Because they used to beat
Had
on her.
she humbled herself, right, right. Had she listened to that man, she wouldn't have been through all of that.
Yeah. Because
She wouldn't have
like
went through all that.
you hear the thing about when brothers be like, "Oh, he hit me because he loved me," right? Now we ain't gonna say hit you. We ain't gonna say he hit you because he loved you. He just was misunderstood. He didn't know he ain't supposed to be throwing his hands on you like that. But the point of between him and that woman who don't know you, she ain't got no love for you at all. So you think she gonna hold back with that nightstick?
Right.
And
No,
that's
no.
you know. And I remember the little parts I did see in the movie. I remember that when Oprah got out of prison, her face was all jacked up. Because that white woman was putting that cane on her, putting that stick on her.
Mm, 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 mm. And
You
then
know?
gonna get mad and blame the black man. And you know what? It's something in the psychology of that. Because if you let a woman run over you, they're gonna say, "That's your fault. You should have been a man. You let me do that." If you don't correct them, that's your fault. You should have been a man. I thought you was the head, right? They always say if they do wrong, it's always going to be, okay, that's on you. You're supposed to be the man. And to some degree, they're right because God told Adam, don't listen to that woman. Don't listen to that snake. And that was our commandment. We do what we're supposed to do by the creator. And that's yeah, they always going to say you should have stepped up as a man, and they're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So as we said
Yeah.
earlier, when we step up as a man, are you ready to humble yourself um, to the criteria? That's if the man is a man by God's statement, not a
Yeah.
man by you know
Laws of
the
man.
world's statement, the
Yeah.
laws of man. Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, melanated people got to start realizing, stop looking for the water after the fire done burnt your house down. put that fire out as soon as you see it. It's easy to control when it's a little fire. And this is the thing that a lot of our young ladies and the young men don't realize. Tame it when it's small so it won't be a big problem. But what happens is we dealing with a raging forest fire here, and people are getting mad because we putting water on it.
As you put water on it, and you putting it, as Brother Baldwin said, you putting it up to the light.
Yeah.
Did we ever discuss why it was called the color purple? I think that has been some. Did anybody ever say why Alice Walker called it the color purple?
We
Yeah, I
could
want to.
Google that. We could Google
Yeah.
that.
Well, if you want to, real quick,
But
while you Google that, I
yeah,
just want to tell you why. Also, I thought it was a very big concern of talking about this because our people just ran off and went to see that bad boy. Over the last 2 days, it's made $25 million.
Wow.
25 million. It outtook, even though that new movie Aquaman was a piece, wasn't that great. You most of the time superhero movies be the number one movie at the box office. It was The Color Purple. You
Breaking
know,
news, breaking news, breaking news. The title of the book, The Color Purple, itself has several layers of meaning. Purple is a color that traditionally symbolizes royalty, power, and spirituality. In the context of the story, purple represents a full spectrum of human experience and emotion from suffering, pain, to joy and happiness.
and you
it
know
was
what popped it?
BS.
You
I'll
know
call
what?
BS.
Yeah, but you know what popped in my mind as you were speaking on that, and I thought about when you even said why did they call it Color Purple? I thought of Prince because remember he got the song Purple Rain, Purple Rain, you
Purple.
know.
Yeah.
And then ain't in
You
that
think
song he
so?
say something about? Did he say something about his mama? I guess I'm too much like my mama or something. He said.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just like my mama, too bold. Maybe I'm just
That's
like
right.
my father. Yeah, you know he did.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? That's a link there. He did say that.
yeah.
He did.
So
He
I'm
did
thinking
mention his mama
maybe,
and his father.
yeah, maybe he saw the movie or he read the book or something. And this is just speculation. I'm just throwing something. I'm not saying this will happen, but
Well, the
So,
speculation for me
so
would be Color Purple came out, what, 84, 85? Color
yeah,
Purple came out, I mean, the Purple Rain was 84, 85, and Color Purple was 86. So maybe
yeah,
she was doing some.
yeah.
maybe she
But the
just,
book,
maybe
no,
she,
but the book
yeah.
didn't the book come out before the movie though?
Yeah, it was
When
The
was
book
86.
was, yeah, the book was,
The movie came out in
yeah.
86 or 88. When the movie come out.
That was the
the movie
movie
came out in
came out.
'86?
Okay. So maybe it was out around the same time.
Yeah, the book might have came out a little
So,
earlier.
so
But go ahead, go ahead.
y'all remember what is it with the Italians or the mobs when they hated a black person they call them what do they call them, a Mudian,
Yeah, Muli.
and what was that? That was a eggplant.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, it's an eggplant. They call you a eggplant in their language because an eggplant
it's purple.
resembled our color. Was
Mm,
was we were so black at that time, excuse the
Purple?
language if I offended you, that we took on a purple hue. You ever see somebody so dark they take on a purple hue, and the Italian used to call us moody-eyed.
yeah,
I thought
Did
they
you know
called
what?
him blue black.
yeah. But I'm
Well,
gonna tell you.
but it's actually not called. But in Italian, you know, an eggplant is called melanza, and the first parts of that word is melanz, which is melanated. So it's called a
Mhm,
melanza or melanated.
mhm,
So I'm thinking the color purple just meant a dark melanated person. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. But yeah, definitely those are just different ideas and thoughts about that. And it's funny when you bring up the Italians and stuff, and people that that's why I try to tell people that melanated people have been all over the damn planet. You
Yeah.
know, you do have, like I tell people, I'm not gonna discredit those who confine their lineage to Africa, but you could be a dark skinned person and be from many places because people are studying now and realizing there were dark people in Italy, there were dark people in Ireland, there were dark people in Asia. So it just depends
Mhm.
on where you came from. That's
Where
why
you
it goes
came from.
back, and you hear people say the original man, because Adam probably was a dark brother. You know, And the
Right,
thing is,
right.
we all understand that dark people can make light people, but it can't go the other way around.
So they can't go. And you know what? I've worked with a Nigerian woman who's dark as I am,
Hmm.
and for a whole lot of time, people used to think that Black American employees used to think, okay, she's for us, but she was Nigerian. A Nigerian on their homeland don't say I'm Black; they say I'm Nigerian.
Hmm.
And they don't come to America and say I'm Black American. They say I'm Nigerian.
Yeah,
So they don't behold the same pain as Black America. But we look at them, they're melanated, but they don't hold the same ideas as Black people in America. They're Nigerian. They never
yeah,
claimed as Black. They say I'm Nigerian. We're the
yeah,
only person that says Black.
yeah. Oh, okay. This is what I understand. The reason why, because they've been playing with our ancestors like playing Uno. 1 minute the color's blue, I'm switching to yellow. Now I'm gonna switch it to the red. Then
I
I'm gonna
was
do a
just saying,
reverse,
yeah.
a
I'm
reverse
gonna be
skip on
reversing.
you. Then I'm gonna make you pull 4 cards. They've been playing with our ancestors for centuries, just constantly switching us up. So we have that problem trying to find who we are, and then we even fight amongst each other
Yeah.
now, where you have some sisters and brothers who say they're from Africa. Then you got other brothers and sisters say, "Oh, my people's Indian people." Oh, you ain't no Indian. How you gonna be an Indian? Well, there were dark Indians here too. Then you got the Puerto Rican and Hispanics. Oh, you're African Hispanic. No, there was dark people on Puerto Rico's land too. It's like the color
Yeah.
can be anywhere. That's why I like to prefer using the word melanin, because you can't take that away, because that's why we get darker. Like my brother Jabbar has way more melanin than I do. But we both brothers of color.
We are the same pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
It's funny you say that, Terrell, because only in America we're black. Every
Mhm.
other
oh yeah,
every other melanated person around the world has a home to call themselves. Uh, Africa, yeah, every country, all 54 of them. I'm
yeah.
South African. I'm African.
Listen,
I'm
right. I'm Guyanese or
Yeah, Zanzibar.
Ghana. Yeah, yeah. They
They
claim
identify
their
in their
land.
country of origin. We in
Yeah,
America is the only place where we identify through color:
Yeah.
white,
color.
brown, red, yellow, etc. It's a
And
And
it's a
that's
that's
so
movie.
elementary.
yeah.
It's a
It's
movie
just so
on Netflix.
elementary. That's
It's a
that's
movie on Netflix.
elementary thinking.
It's called
What, brother?
Stat from the Beginning
Yeah.
on
But
Netflix.
I
It's
was
really
gonna
good. It talks about
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, we know that our ancestors went through a lot of stuff. So, they were trying to grab hold of something that they could call their own. So that's why you get all these colors. But then we know that the powers that be, the white people wanted power, so they wanted to separate it. It's like when you wash your clothes, you can't put no whites with no other color, because what happens?
They bleed over.
Yeah, they're gonna
Exactly.
bleed over.
So they want to stay
Yeah.
white. So they like, no, you can't come in here. So that's
No, you
the
can't
problem we
come
had.
in.
But I'm gonna ask you something real quick before I say it, and I'm gonna tell you after the fact. When you were in the military, because our brother served our country, so those you want to give them thank you for your service.
Thank
I
you.
just
Your service, brother.
when you were overseas, when you were talked to, what did they call you? Did they what? I won't even add to it. What did they call you when someone
To be,
addressed
to be
you?
honest with you, remember I stayed in Germany for about 5 years, 5.5 years. And not only was I in Germany, I was in shit, you name it. I tried to get there. Amsterdam, Rotterdam. Every country has a nickname for us, quote unquote, that nigger word.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it was called American,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not identifying you as a collect. I mean, they identify you as a collective, not as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Individually, he's black, but collectively, he was an American on the bus because he wasn't German. He wasn't like us, so he's American. Every country I've been to, I mean, hell, I drove down through Germany through to Italy with an ID. Didn't even have a passport to just let me go, because there was no, what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, this trusted this black person. Oh, it's American. All right, okay, keep it going.
Yeah.
So it's a
The
very
reason,
beautiful experience.
yes, the reason I asked you that, I'm glad you said that, because in my mind, And I just started learning. I just started elevating to this thought pattern that I know that we as Black people have gone through some hellified crap in this country.
It still is.
Our ancestors have gone through some hellified crap. We still have brothers and sisters that go through hellified crap. But we still, I realize we are Americans to the rest of the world. We just stepchild Americans. We the Americans getting pissed on, but we still Americans.
Yeah.
And I think like people need to start realizing that, where I try to tell people it's time for you to infiltrate like they infiltrated us. Infiltrate and get things happening the way you want to happen in this country, because it's yours as much as it is theirs. You know, ain't no need to throw out the what they throw. Don't throw out the baby with
The
the
baby with the bathwater.
with the bathwater. You know, and that's just how I see it. You know, and if people start realizing that you're here, you ain't going nowhere. Like Black, we ain't going nowhere. So make this shit work for you. You know, that's how I look at it.
Yep.
Because I gotta pull out. I gotta pull out. It's at 7 o'clock. I gotta pull out my little behind. So I gotta pull out. But look, it's always a pleasure. God bless both of you guys. If I don't talk to you, Happy New Year. And I'll see you next Friday. Same back time, back channel.
All right, definitely. But
All right,
even he's out of here. We all out of here. We did our hour. We thank y'all for coming through. We're gonna do 2024 is on its way. We're gonna do bigger and better things, and we're just gonna keep keep getting bigger by the grace of God. You know, by the Most High.
Yes.
We are Muslim. We call him Allah. And I just like to say, see y'all next year. Jabbar, you got something to tell the people?
Yeah, you know what, our melanin, we take on that vitamin D. And the white women love that vitamin D. And you know what that D stand for. That vitamin D.
Gotta get your vitamins, baby. So until next time,
vitamin D.
find you some vitamin D and be happy. Be happy.
To the color purple, to the shade yellow, or the shade gray.
We out of here.